Thank you very much. This is a very important question. The issue of regulating the internet has been making the rounds in the region. Many governments in this part of the world are discussing the issue, coming up with many ideas here and there. Some are talking about new laws. Some are talking about amending existing laws. Some are asking, of course, resorting to technological measures to ban, to stop, to prevent people from accessing the internet. But I have to say very clearly that all of these attempts are going to fail.
Good morning. I just want to thank Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. My name is Hani Mango. My question is directed to Dr. Mustafa. I want to commend him on his hard work and his efforts on raising the Palestinian issue and the struggle that we are facing as a people. And I also want to say that Facebook and YouTube are now making it very difficult for the Israelis to hide their vicious and horrible acts. Really, they are, it's all over, and I'm just wondering, how is it that the governments are able to still turn a blind eye to what is happening? I'm sure that, is it changing? Is there any effect of what's going on the internet? I mean, clearly the hunger strike that was taking place in the prisons, had it happened 20 years ago, I don't think anybody would have cared because nobody would have known. Now it's everywhere. Now the whole world can see. And even Israelis themselves are disgusted by what their governments are doing. Is there a change in the world, in the West, to the view of Israel? And can we use this more and more against what they are doing? And do you see some effects from this? And I just want to say also that the gentleman back here had a valid comment about the Rotary and the discrimination he faced.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind remark. About, of course you are right, the YouTube, the other social media outlets are changing the situation. And the situation is changing worldwide, definitely. One example of that is, I think yesterday the Israeli newspapers published a study which showed that the country, they have this kind of poll which asked people about which country has the worst negative image about its policy and so on. And Israel took the worst third place in the world, immediately after Afghanistan and Iran. So these were the results. And now they are talking about it in Israel, why Israel has this negative image, etc. Of course, the best outcome for Israel was in the United States. The worst place was Egypt, by the way, for Israel. But I must tell you, we are still in the stage where an incident happens, people see it on YouTube or on TV, and they have a bad negative impression about Israeli policy. But we are still lagging behind, especially in the West, in presenting the Palestinian and Arab narrative. There is a big difference between presenting an incident, a case, an occasion, like when you speak about hunger strike, the hunger strike of prisoners, it creates a very good positive image. But people still don't see it as part of a greater non-violent resistance as a whole in the country. That's the difference between an incident and a narrative. And in my opinion, one of the most important duties we have here is to speak about the narrative and show the narrative. One example of what we did is the production of a documentary called Our Story, which was produced in English, Arabic, French, Spanish, and Italian. Unfortunately, we tried to have it broadcast in all satellite stations. The only one that broadcast it was the Palestinian TV. And I still don't know why they don't want to broadcast it. Of course, YouTube is the best way. But that's an example of something that still faces difficulty. But in my opinion, the issue here is about the narrative. And you are absolutely right about the YouTube. People will turn a blind eye as long as you don't push them. Many people, because it's more comfort to turn a blind eye. To support Palestinian cause, it's costly in some places. So that's why there is a need for persistent effort, for resilience, and also for good hard work.
شكرا لكم، شكرا للدكتور مصطفى البرغوثي، شكرا للدكتور نبيل شريف. لا سيدي خلاص ارجوك. معلش الوقت اسعفنا. اذا في لو سمحت انا مدير الجلسه مش راح اسمح لك تتحدث. ارجوك خذ الميكروفون منه لانه انتهى الوقت. لا تحرجني مع معلش اذا في اي سؤال من الاخوه والاخوات للدكتور نبيل الشريف والدكتور مصطفى البرغوثي سيكونوا متوفرين خلال جلسه البريك كوفي. اهلا وسهلا بكم. شكرا دكتور نبيل الشريف، شكرا دكتور مصطفى.
شكرا جزيلا. Thank you very much. الأستاذ المغرب شكرا جزيلا. Thank you very much. شكرا. وأكيد دكتور نبيل الشريف senior media expert and Dr. Mustafa Barghouthi. I want to remind everyone no lunch is served at 2:45 لسه في وقت أكيد. And then we have a tour to Aila. Buses will move at 5:45 from the lobby here from the Intercontinental. For tonight's dinner, the pickup is at 8:30. There are buses in every and each hotel of here in Aqaba. كل الهوتيلات هيكون فيهم buses هيتحركوا 8:30 to of course to the dinner event. So please be ready at 8:30. كل واحد بالهوتيل تبعه باللوبي. Yes, 4:45. 5 إلى ربع. Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. But please bear with us. We are running very much short on time, and we cannot have more than 1 or 2 questions at most, depending on the time. So please make the questions very brief, straight to the point. And I apologize if many of you wanted to speak longer. It's a rule always in sessions that very brief questions. We cannot have much longer. I would like, can we have order, please? Can we have order? We still have not finished. We still have 2 more sessions. I have an important announcement to make. We have 3 fellow Rotarians. I am sure they are not with us this conference, but I would like, once I mention their names, I would like the president of the club or any member of the club, if the president is not here, to receive on behalf of Rotary International a special recognition from Rotary International President Kalian Banerjee on their membership in Rotary for 50 years. I would like to call on, I'm sure he's not here, but I call on the president of Rotary Club of Beirut to receive on behalf of member Lutfallah Milki 50 years membership in Rotary. Okay, George. I would like someone from Rotary Club of Khartoum to receive on behalf of Charles Khoury, 50 years membership in Rotary. And from Rotary Club of Tripoli, Lebanon, to receive on behalf of Saba Battash. Anyone from Khartoum here? Khartoum? Anyone from Khartoum? Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Osama. Now we'll start with a new session, of course, knowledge age. نبلش واكيد زي ما حكى Governor Osama, please بدنا نقسم الوقت شوي خاصة بالquestions and answers. I would like to ask Mr. Mustafa Nasruddin from the Rotary Club of Hammam Petra يكون معنا على stage, please.
May I invite our speakers, Dr. Sabri Saidam, Wael Veterani, and Zej Belal. Please join us.
How are you, man? Very well. All right. No problem. Anything else? Thank you. Honestly, okay.
Fellow Rotarians and dear guests, if you please either be seated or if there is something that you would like to discuss, you might do it outside. But we cannot start a session while we have people standing and talking about different things.
Bonjour.
We are late in time and we would like to start to give the chance to other sessions to follow and then go to the prayers time. So please be seated. I would like first to start with thanking our speakers coming from 3 different places to join us in a very interesting session. It's titled Knowledge Age, and I think it will be a good continuation on what we started this morning. We keep talking about technology, internet, youth. I believe that all of this is the result of the knowledge era. My dear guests, if you allow me again, please listen to me and to our speakers. This is the place where we listen and not speak. And I hope you will understand. Again, I would like to mention something when we come to the questions and answers. We are very limited with time, so just not to disappoint anybody, we will only have questions, very short questions, which require very short answers. Our speakers are with us all the time. You can always approach them during lunches, dinners, and you can always talk to them in as much as you like. Our first speaker will be His Excellency Dr. Sabri Saidam. I will read from my computer just to show that we are in the technology age and I'm not reading from the papers. Dr. Sabri Sailam is currently the advisor to the President Mahmoud Abbas in Palestine on IT and technology education. He is the former Minister of Telecommunication and Information Technology and was the youngest serving minister in the Palestinian government. He led telecom market liberalization in Palestine, which led to the introduction of the new mobile and internet providers. He is also a senior lecturer at Birzeit University teaching innovation management at the MBA level. A founder and member of many organizations founded on scientific innovation. There's so many things I can talk about, but the last I can mention that he's a graduate of the Imperial College in the UK and he has a certificate in development from Oxford University. Dr. Sabri, the floor is yours.
They say in the world of politics, it's important that you're tall. However, it's also important that your arms are short, if you see what I mean in Arabic. I'm often unlucky when it comes to speeches that I have to speak before lunch. So sometimes I feel that I'm at odds with people's stomachs. Today I will be at odds if I prolong this speech with God, because I will be putting you away from the Jum'ah prayers. Inshallah, I won't do it. What I want to say is that I had hoped that there will be more people in the room, since this is the session that addresses knowledge age, internet, and the revolution we're experiencing nowadays. I would like to say that when we talk about youth, we would rather avoid sloganeering, because as we could notice over the last year or so, the talk about youth is more about talking of the ambitious plans to integrate them in politics, to give them the platform to excel and achieve. But on the contrary, what's being done is quite the opposite. Most of the political parties, most of the political leaders, most of the people who are in the political machine are avoiding the question, are we ready to integrate youth into the machines or not? I would like to also say that indeed what the Prince had to say yesterday regarding graduates of 46% in Tawjihi, and they run a political party they're considered important. Yet a 99% Tawjihi graduate, who is a graduate, as he said, of MIT, is totally insignificant and is not given the attention. I think we need to change the culture, and the change of culture would have to happen from within. I would like you to be also interactive with your kids. I ask parents as to how you handle technology. They say we have iPad, we have iPhone, we have iPod. And when I ask the parent, and what do? They say iPad. So iPad, iPod, iPhone, and iPad. We would like to change this. For years on end, we have talked about the digital divide between the South and North. Now we notice that there is a digital divide within the own family, the parents. But the Prince also had to say, he said, you know, if they give us the attention nowadays, that's considered to be a good gesture, because they don't need us, they know it all. We need to break this barrier. We need to talk to our kids, see what they're interested in, and solicit their opinion on matters that can really bring the digital divide even smaller. What I also want to say is that the change will not happen electronically. We will have to do it in a way that's more interactive, more physical. We have to encourage parents in our societies to sit down and learn about this black box. Most of the parents don't deal with technology. Most of the parents, not the parents who are in this room, but maybe the parents outside, are often asking me about technology. What's this black box? Facebook? Or I've gone beyond the age of Facebook. And on the question of Facebook, I asked a small child, I said, what's Facebook? He said, sir, it's the screwdriver with which you remove presidents. What we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to really think of technology as an enabler. We don't want technology to put us away from our loved ones. People are talking now about digital autism, that your computer is more important than your social life, that you spend more time with your iPhone or with your smartphone than with your friends. We need to break this. We need to revolutionize internet so it brings people closer. I have to say that quite recently youth have become the fashionable item. Wherever you go to conferences, and would have to forgive me for being blunt, there's always the talk about new generations, there's always the talk about youth. It's important to see that we cannot always fall victim to fashionable issues. This is something that's embedded in our society. We have ignored it quite so long that it has erupted in our faces. We have seen changes in Arab streets, but let's not adopt the issue as if it's a fashion. We have heard about countering terrorism. We have heard about democracy and human rights. And now we hear of entrepreneurship as if it was born in the West and has been parachuted into our respective societies. We are all entrepreneurs by nature, and we all love technology by nature. It's only economic hardship and social problems that keep us away from technology. But beyond that, I'm sure we can break the barriers. I tell you, Prime Minister Netanyahu, the other day when he was talking about the dangers that face Israel, he mentioned technology. And I would like to second what my colleague Mustafa Barghouti just said. Israel has nuclear capabilities, has chemical weapons, but yet they all sleep idle in their stores because now they worry about the information age. They worry about YouTube. They worry about the image they see that they have long put away from people. The voices that are being heard that have long been gagged. It's time that we notice that we have strength at hand. We have an enabler that can bring change to us all. I also want to say that when we talk about technology, it is indeed the time to go beyond the internet to the internet. Yes, we need to ask big questions. What are we going to come up with in this conference? What are the outcomes? What are the recommendations? Where are we heading from here? What will you be talking to your kids when you go back? What will you be doing in the coming year? What reports will you have about youth projects in the future? I tell you, it is important indeed. It's important what you know rather than who you are. I think it is time for us to see that we have this enabler, we can do things, and we can certainly move in the right direction. We can certainly see that Facebook, YouTube, social media platforms can bring change, and I think it is time that we adopt a different approach to this. Yes, we need young men and women to be part and parcel of our system, but we also need to address the social implications of the use of technology. One last thing I want to say is that when you talk about generation, new generations, please don't overdo it. Do it wisely and think about it wisely. I think it is time for change, but it would have to be a local change, a locally driven change, and a locally supported change. There's a joke that goes in town now, that if you're sitting with 5 people and you're the only ones with your head up and they're all looking downwards, that doesn't mean that you're the only proud member of the gang. Rather, you're the only one who doesn't have a Facebook and a Twitter account. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Habib. I have a small announcement. بس تذكير إنه lunch will be served at 2:45. And of course, the trip to Ida will be at 5:45. We'll meet at the lobby at 5:30. Buses will move at 5:30. التجمع 5:30 will move at 5:45. And then our dinner plan is to move at 8:30 from your hotel. The Kul Hotel, we will have a bus that will move to the event location. Thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa Nastin. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sabri. Thank you for making it even in this time than was expected. My next speaker is from Microsoft, and you will obviously notice that I'm now reading from my paper because he didn't like that I read from an iPad. So, Zaid Shviler is today the Marketing and Operations Director at Microsoft for North Africa, East Mediterranean and Pakistan. Before that, he was the Regional Director in the Education sector for Middle East and Africa, and in March 2003 until November 2009, he was the Country Manager of Microsoft in Jordan. And there were so many other things he was doing before that. He is a graduate of the Medical University of South Carolina, and he has a BS in Computer Science from the Citadel. Zaid will talk about an interesting topic, and it's again about youth, but you have to remember that the whole conference this year is about youth. So he will talk about engaging the youth, and I think he has a PowerPoint presentation. Probably it's the first in this conference, so we will give him the time. Please make sure you finish on time to give us the chance to go with our next session. Thank you. Just to remind you, by the way, while the presentation is being prepared, we will have some awards announced probably after the session or before the or by the beginning of the next session. So I urge all the clubs who are really who worked hard all the year to get the conference awards, the district awards to be available, because we will not do this at any other time. It will be done continuously during the sessions. Are we ready? Just one more minute. Do you have any question? Just I could use the time for one question if you like to Dr. Sabri, if anybody has one. Please.
I'd like to know about the use you are talking
Can we have a microphone somewhere there? This one.
About the use you are talking, they started the revolutions in most of the Arab countries, and at the end they lost everything and the Islamists took power most probably. So how do you push them to continue and grow and have faith in their future?
Well, I would beg to differ with you, because I wouldn't say that they've lost it to the Islamists. I think this is a democracy at its best manifestation. People have the right to elect the party, the candidate they choose, and it's up to them to see. I think it's part of the experience, it's part of the political change. People have not tested other parties. They might as well go and test these respective parties. It is hard to see that we can in any way oppress democracy because we fear the opposite partners. I think the culture of the internet has shown that we live in an open world in which people have the freedom to express their own political interests and their own political freedom and choose the candidate they and the party they choose. And I think to that effect, I would say what concerns me most is that youth in some of the respective countries have run revolutions, but they have not been in any way part of a system that allowed them to take over and unite and be acting in a coherent manner. Instead, what I could see is that they're still wavering, they're still unsure. So maybe it's a call for youth to unite and get their act together, and that before they start any movement, they should in some way or the other be aware of the fact that there will be implications and they will have to be ready for such implications. I will be lucky if technology is delayed even further. It's working? Any questions?
I think we have another alternative.
أنا والله أعلن عدم مسؤوليتي عن خراب التكنولوجيا. It always happens.
Just Microsoft.
I think we are ready. Yes. Please, go ahead.
It has 70 slides.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll do it all. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me here. I've spoken with local chapters of Rotary, and obviously in Jordan, and I've enjoyed the interaction, questions and answers. But what most of all I've enjoyed is the interaction that happened after. So with the companies that you all represent. So here it is, our Tiananmen Square. This is what happened. And one starts to wonder, and the question always comes up of why. Why would someone leave their house in the middle of the night to go and stand and object when the benefit of the doubt or their chances of succeeding are close to nil, or so they thought. So I've been involved in a lot of discussions around this. Why did this happen? Even a friend of mine who wrote in 2010 about a potential renaissance for Arabs. And then they mentioned the whole notion of the word democracy, self-representation. And I argued, I said, well, Nasser, I don't think it's at that level. I think it goes a lot deeper. What is it that makes a person like this go out and leave the security of his home? Is because they realize that security no longer exists. The security of equal opportunity for even potential success does not exist anymore. They stop seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And even in some discussions that I've had with friends of mine, I've always said, you know what, the thing that scares me the most is when I run out of ideas and I just don't see anymore. And I'm just there doing my work. Then I started the debate and I told them, well, look, human nature, human psychology is represented by this, Maslow's pyramid of needs. And if you really look at that, towards the bottom part, safety and security. Safety and security here when we talk about the future. That lies at this level. Where when we talk about democracy and elections and all of that stuff, that's really the whole notion of self-actualization. So we still are going to have to go through these different inflection points until we reach that. But right now, what has happened is that the youth have come out. So I stand here in front of you in a bittersweet way. I'm an Arab working for a multinational American company instead of being an Arab working for a multinational Arab company. To come and to talk to you and to present to you that we as Microsoft, when we look at the youth, we look at them as the conduits for the next generation of innovation that will be coming out, that will push our industry forward, and not some corporate social responsibility program. They are the future. Let's take a look and see in the Arab world. 1 out of 4 are unemployed, is unemployed. There's a study that says by 2020 that we will have 19 million unemployed. Currently there's 75 million in the world that are unemployed youth. So how do we do it? How do we engage? We have pillars. We say, okay, there's 3 things. It's simple. Let's look at it. Empowerment. We need to change the educational system. We need to enable the educational system. We want to focus on the skills, the really needed skills. And then, imagination. How do we release the creativity? How do we encourage the creativity of these people, the youth?